guys, back again for something, now for something completely different. A Stirling engine from Banggood, which I was asked to review, and you get most of my comments as the video runs, but it's pretty darn good. In terms of value for money, I can't really fault it. I'd love to have been able to say that I'd made it myself. I certainly couldn't make it myself for what's basically $66. It's remarkable. The instructions are in Chinese, so you won't get very far with that, but it's not that easy, not that difficult to set up. Piece of cake. So 10 out of 10 actually. I was trying to pick holes in it, and the only thing I could was a slight lack of squareness on the mounting, but that's so small it doesn't really matter. Blind man would be happy to see that. So there you are. We'll be back to regular programming fairly soon, I hope. I just thought I'd squeeze this in and get it out of the way. Alright guys, take care. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you later. Bye. Here's a grab of the web page, which you'll see if you follow the link. And then some pictures from different angles. These are Banggood pictures to give some idea of the detail. And on this one we can see the fuel bottle, and then next is the flywheel, which, as I said later, runs perfectly true, and finally the crankshaft crankpin assembly. Now this is grabbed from How Stuff Works, just to give you an idea. Red is hot, blue is cold. This just gives you a general idea without going into a huge load of detail. You can read up on that very easily. Well, here's the latest from Banggood, and I must say I love little engines, and I was very impressed with the one that Rob Zanudu has made for himself. Well, I've shown some pictures as an intro and the web page. They call it a Banggood Stirling engine. I call it a double acting, I suppose, because of the way that it operates. You've got the heat there and the double action here on the pivot. It's quite a complex mechanism. There's probably a lot of glare on here because it is incredibly well finished. $65.99 is the price on that, and I'm not sure whether some sort of coupon code was mentioned. I don't know whether it's valid or not, but to be honest, at that list price it's incredible. At the moment, about the only thing that I notice is that the base and the platform are not quite square to each other. By a very small amount. It's a bit like wanting to straighten a picture, but I can't. Anyway, that's a minor point. It really is quite amazing. Quite amazing. You know, when you get something to look at and review, obviously you want to, there are two factors. Does it work? Does it work well? And what are the downsides, if any? Well, I've only had it running once, and the best I can tell at the moment, there isn't any real downside. If we had to make this, look at what's involved. You've got a base plate, you've got a holder for a little cup. I'll just mention with a slight chuckle, it came in a plain box with plenty of bubble wrap and is very well packaged. But instructions such as they are in Chinese, so we'll forget about that, and that's hardly a negative point really. Now, the whole principle of the Stirling, which I covered with a sort of borrowed animation just to remind folks of what's going on. This appears to be brass, that appears to be brass. This is a beautifully made piece. And they did throw in, I haven't quite worked out, there's a spare cylinder for there, although I'm not sure how that comes out, and a spare sleeve for that top cylinder. And there's not much else I can say other than let's get it running. So here we go. I think it takes about half a minute. Just running with some isopropyl alcohol in there. I'm just timing it actually. It's what are we now? We're coming up to about quarter of a minute. No, just about quarter. It should start to show some life fairly soon. And it does run on a little bit for a while. Oh, that's pretty good for a run-on. Let me just turn it round. Have a look at it from another angle. Oh. It's actually quite heavy. And that steel seems like polished stainless actually. Let's crank it up again, so you can see it from this side. Well, there you go. This needn't be a long video because really it's a very simple one to do. The con rod there and this link, it's been drilled to reduce weight, and that's probably just a small piece of, again, probably stainless, about 22 gauge, 24 gauge. The flywheel is absolutely true as a nut, running on center, and there's a little bit of, no, actually there's no slop on the bearing. There's a little bit of free play on the crank pin back here, which is minimal, and about the only thing I would tend to do if running it for any period of time longer would be a drop of machine oil in here, any pivot point, and in the bearing housing, and that's about it. Fabulous thing for demonstrating to kids, for instance, and beyond that, just a very a very interesting thing to see function. So I think Banggood scored on this one. I mean, well, 65.99, that's 66 bucks, isn't it? But I mean, could you honestly make that in your time for anything as inexpensive as that? It's probably, most of it's CNC, I'm absolutely sure. Everywhere I look, I can see CNC. It's got to be. But leaving that aside, it's brilliant. So I won't bore you anymore with too much more waffle. I'll just say thanks for watching. There's a link in the description. Go and have a look if you like, and if you fancy buying one as a prezi. Well worth it, I think. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Be back to normal programming soon, I hope. Bye for now.